What's up guys, it's Arleman again. Today I'm going to be giving you a main menu tutorial. So one of my friends brought this to my attention, and it's that the game has a lot of complexity. Doesn't really help that, if you look at the main menu, there's just so much stuff. Now, if you've ever played Hero Collectors before, like Epic 7 or Raid or pretty much anything else on mobile, you will realize that a lot of these systems and a lot of these activities and content are pretty much the same across the board. In Seven Knights 2, just how the stuff is laid out is different. So I'm going to go over briefly what a lot of these things mean and what they mean for your characters. Okay, so I've touched on this before, but just real quick, upper left, you've got your bag icon. This is your inventory. This is where you would be equipping your characters, going through all your stuff. Alright, this icon over here is going to be your store. Alright, remember from my UI video, maps. Actual Mole Emporium is going to be refreshing in 2 seconds, so you get to see this rare little event.
I picked up some new items.
What? Look at that. He's got some new items. So we're going to buy some maps.
I'll bring even
better. We're going to buy more maps.
I'll bring even better ones.
Anyway, with that out of the way, that's where shops are. Alright. This little arm icon, as you see here, is the same icon as this set team. That allows you to change your team members from your roster. And then this is the pet menu, which allows you to borrow a friend's pet. So even if you do not have a pet, which pets are very hard to come by, especially the legendary ones, you can borrow one of your friend's pets. Okay, so first icon here is Arena. Arena is separated into 2 modes, normal and tag match. Normal is basically team versus team play, and the rewards are very important. PvP is very important because as you participate, you actually unlock a piece of equipment called your belt. Your belt is only obtainable from your PvP rank, and it resets every week. So what I mean is that if you look at your characters, this belt slot that gives you these buffs, if you don't do PvP during the week and don't collect the reward, you do not have this piece of equipment in your slot. So PvP, make sure you do it. Even if you don't like it, honestly, I'm not a huge PvP fan, but PvP in this game, for some reason, clicks with me. So that's for normal arena. Tag match is where you set up 3 teams with various multipliers, and it's 3 teams versus 3 teams. Best of 3 wins, and of course you progress along the ranks. There really isn't anything mandatory with this, but it does reward you with Topaz currency, which is what you are going to use to purchase your Select Up Hero Summon tickets. Alright, so that's what tag match is for. Pet dispatch is your standard dispatch. The more pets you have, the more dispatches you can run. Field exploration, this is the offline farming. These take a certain amount of maps to run, and as your characters run them, not only does it reward you with gold, but it also rewards you with rubies. And it can drop legendary equipment, accessories, what have you. So this is very much the meat and potatoes of your farming. That's where it happens, is field exploration. Alright, dungeons. These are your resource dungeons. These are fairly self-explanatory. Your gold vault, which is for currency. Soulstone quarry, which gives you the currency to buy character shards in the shop. Elixirs, which are used to increase your character's proficiency. Rune Temple, which will increase divinity, and experience run for experience potions. Alright. Raid. These are the various raid bosses through the game, and of course each one drops a specific kind of armor. Gigantus will drop the attack boost set. Varian will drop the crit boost set. Things like that. So that's where these are. Lizardria will drop HP boost set, which honestly, it's an annoying fight. I hate doing it, but just do it anyway. So that's the raids. The 8-player raid. These are also solo play, but these are like the bigger raids. And these will drop other kinds of equipment for you. Alright. All of the raids, both the 4-player and the 8-player raid, can drop crafting components that can be used in the crafting menu to craft specific pieces of equipment. So even if you don't get the drops, you can get materials to start making some of the drops. And then your daily dungeon. Daily dungeon is comprised of all 6 of the 4-player and all 3 of the 8-player raids. This actually is the co-op mode where you can actually either recruit players to play in, or you can run it with AI chosen characters. But just be aware that the AI chosen characters are a little more than fodder. Alright. And then you have Celestial Tower. This is your standard 100th floor tower climb. Well, actually, 120th floor tower climb. With multiple difficulty settings, and of course, different rewards for clearing. The nice thing with this is, so 7 Nights 2 is a sequel to 7 Nights 1, and as you reach certain breakpoints in the tower, you will actually get cutscenes where you can actually go back and watch the cutscenes, but it tells you the story of all the things that happen in 7 Nights 1 that you may have missed. Alright? But it's your standard tower climb. And every day you can clear the floors automatically and get a whole bunch of money. Alright, so the board. This is an enormous piece of content. So other than the main campaign, you have hero memories. And these are for many of the characters that are in the game. And these are basically story chapters. They play out just like regular campaign stages, but they tell each of the characters' personal stories. So, which is kind of wild considering how many characters they are. And some of the rewards are just absolutely enormous. Huge amounts of ruby currency. As you can see, I haven't done all of them. I just haven't had the time. They are quite an investment, but they are well worth it if you are trying to increase your ruby count. And then Rings of Fate, if I remember correctly, because I haven't done a lot of these, there's only one so far, but these basically deal with a what-if scenario. So 7 Nights 2 is actually a quasi-sequel to 7 Nights 1 in that it is an alternate dimension of events that transpired differently in 7 Nights 1. So going with that theme, Ring of Fate are basically what ifs in the universe of these characters. And as more characters are launched, more of these are added. So we're about a year behind Korea, so there's plenty more of this stuff coming. Alright, so Maze of Trials. This is a weekly party-based system where there are certain if you have certain heroes that will give you major buffs towards the fight. And the rewards are maze fragments, which are used in the store for various materials. Alright, Guild War, which is kind of self-explanatory if you've got a guild. Same thing with Guild Raid. These can be accessed in the guild menu as well. So that's the left side of the screen. The very top of the middle is tells you what season you're in. So there are 3 seasons as well as a side story. Seasons are basically volumes in an anthology. So, like, if you consider like the Lord of the Rings series, like season 1 would be Fellowship of the Ring. Season 2 would be... Sorry, no. Season 1 would be Hobbit. Season 2 would be Fellowship of the Ring. Season 3 would be, Return of the King. So, there are more coming. I'm just using that as an example, but there are more seasons coming, but they're very lengthy. There's a lot of story content in this game. I think the story is actually very good. They've got some really, really good voice actors. I enjoyed thoroughly. The first season, about up until halfway, is kind of schlocky, but it does get much, much better when you get halfway through Season 1, and then Season 2 and Season 3 are just phenomenal. Anyway, moving on. So on the very bottom of the screen, you have what's basically your account window. So your account combat power. So this is the combined combat power of all of the characters in your roster and their equipped gear, their levels, and their skills. So this is not a game where you only use the highest rarity heroes. There's actually quite a few heroes that are lower tier that are required for certain content. There are many bosses that have specific elemental damage, that do specific elemental damage that can only be resisted by very specific, usually very low tier characters. So the game will kind of explain that to you as you play. I'll probably do a video about that later. But what you need to know from this screen is that as your account combat power goes up, you will start getting rewards. The characters Gillahan, Claire, pretty much right away, Miss Velvet, and as your account power climbs, you can get more and more of these rewards, more characters, and eventually you can start unlocking legendary characters. Go far enough and you can start getting legendary plus characters. It goes all the way to 10 million account power, so lots and lots of stuff here. So very important to realize that you kind of do need to invest in all of your characters because most characters do have a use, no matter the rarity. So right side of the screen, we have heroes. Pretty self-explanatory. This is kind of the general breakdown of all of your heroes. You can actually look at, there's very specific stats if you need, their proficiency level. So what proficiency means is that if you go to transcending your heroes. So heroes, transcendence is basically how you increase their level cap. Legendary when you get characters, they start with a level cap of 30. They require additional shards in order to raise that level cap by 2 levels. So you need many shards to get them to the current level cap of 60, like the Chris I have here. So the way you get these shards, there are 2 ways. You either purchase them in the store with soul stones that you get in the resource dungeon, and those are limited. You can purchase 1 legendary plus shard per character or 2 legendary shards per character per day. Or, if you are lucky in the gacha and you get a dupe of the character, it is an instant 10 shards. So, either which way, there is a path for whales and there is a path for free-to-play. But both are ultimately end in the same place. So you do not have to open your wallet to progress in this game. Obviously, the lower tier characters, you're going to be able to progress much faster, but even the higher tier characters, there is a way to do that as well. But back to my original point, proficiency, the more you use a character, the higher their proficiency gets. There are even certain things called proficiency potions. Let me see if I got a character here, I can show you what that looks like. Proficiency potions are things that you will get in your drops in field exploration. And as your proficiency goes up, it actually will send you soul stones in the mail for quite a lot, actually. I think it's a total of 20 soul stones you get in total if you reach proficiency 10, which can get you quite a few level cap increases for your characters. Alright, so that's what the Transcendence buttons does. Now Potential is actually can also be reached here as well. What Potential does is it takes the elixirs from the elixir dungeon and allows you to create permanent increases in their attack, defense, or HP stats. So as you can see here, level 10, level 20 is the max, but this is how much additional attack this gives you. So that's one of the reasons why you want to run that dungeon. Now, there is a trick to this. So the Codex itself is a collection of how many heroes do you have, which have you collected all the equipment in the game, have you upgraded all the equipment in the game. The Codex, other than just being a encyclopedia of the things that you've collected, actually will give you passive buffs for all of your characters, right? So as far as your hero codex goes, is that, and this plays into your potential, is that every 9 points of potential, that's right, every 9 points of potential, you get a boost to your codex bonuses. So what that means is that as you are playing, you want to make sure that you are increasing these in groups of 3. So as you see, all of mine are level 6, which is relatively easy to get, right? But that gives me, if you do 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So for each one of these characters, I am getting 2 permanent buffs to the entire roster. Now, once you start figuring out which characters you want to take to end game, then you can, go up as much as you want. But you always want to try to go up in combinations of 3. As you see here, I've got 15, 9, simply because every time, if I'm going to be spending these resources, I want the most bang for my buck. So you want to increase them in increments of 3 at a time. Alright, hopefully I haven't lost you. Now, Divinity. Divinity is the other passive upgrade system in the game. These require currency called runes, and these are also gained from the rune dungeon in the resource dungeon list. And these are passive bonuses as well. Increased crit rate, combo resistance, and of course there's different tiers. The thing to remember though is that these are not flat out purchases. These have a certain success rate. Now when they start off, like the low ones, it starts at 100% at level 1, and then every level it gets, your success rate goes down. And believe me, it's very, very, very hard to get these things maxed. I actually got one. So 30% chance for me to take this to 15, which 15 is the cap for this. So that's what Divinity had. And you see I just got an 11,000 point boost to my CP. Alright? And then you have skills. So skills, again, is just a different way to go to skills from heroes. Like if you're on the hero menu and you click on enhance skill, it is the same window as clicking on skills. There is a lot of redundancy in the main menu, and that's one of the reasons why it looks so big. Because I guess they wanted you to have the ability to go to any facet of the game quickly. So, as I said, like skills, potential could easily, and level up could easily already be crammed under heroes. So anyway, skills, fairly self-explanatory. One of the things I love about Seven Knights 2 is the fact that you don't need some esoteric material to increase your character skills. There's also no elemental system. To put it simply, is that every 5 levels of your character, you can upgrade all of your skills by one level. And all it costs is gold. That's it. See, level 45, level 50. At level 60, you can level them all up to level 13. Alright, and that's kind of where it is. So, as you can see here, it can go up to level 20, but the level cap, our character level cap, isn't that high yet. So that's where skills are. And as I said, you see you've got transcendence, potential, equipment, and skill. So all of that stuff, basically most of the stuff up here. Now, mastery. Mastery is something this is another passive thing in the game, which is based on your account level. And you can set several of these because sometimes you have choices. Like as you see here, I've got ones for PvE, I've got guild versus guild, for bosses, and for regular scenario. And what these are is that as you see passive buffs. Level 1 activates mastery. Level 2, you can either increase all of your allies' attack or all of your allies' defense. So, and these are per your account level, and it goes all the way to level 190. Now, some guides actually suggest that when you get to like level 50, that you start using rubies to unlock. As you see here, if I want to go to 105, it's 7,000 rubies to open. My account level is 96. That is a lot of rubies to spend. I'm going to leave that on you. Personally, I don't think it's worth it, but your mileage may vary. But the nice thing with this system is that when you go into content, you'll have a tab where you can choose your specific mastery. So you can set your mastery based on what content you're doing, be it PvE, PvP, bosses, what have you. The nice thing is that it will save which mastery you've selected. You just have to fill it out. Okay, the pet menu, self-explanatory. Again, just like the hero menu, you can actually go directly to the summon menu there. That's kind of a way to get you to spend some money. Fusion. This is another thing with this game that I absolutely love. When you pull dupes of things that you have, be it a character or a pet, any extras you have, right, you can actually fuse it. So I have 300 shards of common characters. So we're going to fuse them. I actually just got 43 graders. I can now auto-fuse a bunch of graders. Look at that, I just got a bunch of rare shards. Now I can auto-fuse rares. Ooh, I just got some legendary shards. So as you can see, and the nice thing is that, like, because it requires shards, and shards are what you use to increase your character's level cap, you can lock characters out so that their shards are not used in fusion. Like almost all of my grays, greens, and blues are already fully level capped. Like they've been unlocked all the way to level 60, except for Scott here. So I don't have any problems using them. But as far as like my legendaries, there are a couple that I don't have that I already have that are capped. Although for these I prefer to do it manually. It gives me a shard for one that I don't have. So, same thing with pets. The nice thing with pets is that pets don't require shards to upgrade, so you get a dupe of a pet, it automatically becomes a shard. And as you can see, as you upgrade them, you're guaranteed a higher tier. So, of course, pets are a little bit harder to come to. And you see guide mission complete. Sometimes there are actually events that run for fusion. See, fuse pets, soulstone 70 out of 70. And that event is done. Alright, so of course the craft menu. Craft menu, what game doesn't have a craft menu? You can craft weapons, exclusive equipment, armor, accessories, what have you. One thing to note though is that every event has crafting in it as well. So we've got upgrade dungeon tickets, so we're going to craft that. 10 times pet summon. I want the legendary hero summon. Oh, okay, I already did that one. And these will have weekly or daily limits like that, but when there's an event going, you definitely want to. And where do you think you get this currency? This event currency? From maps, that's right. See how everything is starting to fit together? Alright, we talked about codex.
In ranking, then...
Rankings will just give you ranking. Team level, what have you. But since I'm a filthy casual, my ranking is not high enough to gain any rewards. But if you were, this is where you collect your rewards. Your guild menu will have your donations, your guild achievements, which will give you your guild currency, your guild coins. And then, of course, you've got Guild War, Guild Raid. Guild Raid is really good, so get me guild as soon as you can, because you get personal rewards, which also includes quite a few rubies, and then you get overall guild rewards, which gives you a lot of guild token currency. And then at the end of the season, you get even more. So, and of course, Training Ground is where you can go to practice with various builds against certain various bosses. So let me leave here. So, but that's the guild feature.
What the? These guys are new.
Okay.
Yes. They don't look
Then,
like
of course, your
normal
friends
monsters.
list.
But they won't be a problem. It'll be nothing.
It's fairly self-explanatory.
I think what Casper said before was right.
So this is
It's
new.
been
This is
easier to
equipped
face
status.
enemies
This
since
is
we've left the nightmare.
something you can look at. You can look at all of your
Everyone's
characters
teamwork
here
has improved as well.
in one
Well, almost everyone.
equipment and
You must
accessory
be
in
talking about
one
yourself,
screen.
right,
This is actually really
meathead?
nice when you are
Not again,
trying
you
to find
two.
out where
Ugh.
which characters have which pieces of gear and which sets still need to be completed. So this is a new addition, and it's nice. I like this a lot. All right, so then of course the event menu, which is going to be your sign-in awards. It's a little deceptive because you also have like the cash shop packs here, but usually all that is at the bottom. So you just, usually all your actual real events are in the top of the screen. Ooh, hello, I got Dylan's costume for Player Raid. Got a couple more days on that. Alright, and then of course your mission. These are your daily missions, your monthly missions, and your achievements. So your achievements, the achievements are basically your bonus rewards for getting quote-unquote 3 stars on your campaign stages. So as it says here, Easy Chapter 12. Pursue Shane, complete without any heroes dying. We can actually just go right to that stage, right there, and then do it immediately. So, but the only thing you have to realize too is that it says Easy Chapter. If I go to Shane, it automatically goes to Nightmare. Or actually, no, is this still easy? Yes, it is. Okay, so it did set the difficulty setting. But so these are the trophies I still have to complete in easy, under normal, and then hard. So you don't actually have to go to the map itself to go to the direct stages. You can go right here. But if you want to, you can navigate your the main campaign difficulty here, and then change your chapters like so. And then this is the specific stages. Alright, and the jewel menu. This is relatively new. Jewels are, again, passive bonuses that when you do them, they are unlocked with your runes. So if I wanted to, let's see here, jewel page is unlocked. So this to unlock tank. So these are the sources. So like this would be the boosts to a support character. This would be a boost to a tank character. I actually really need to do these. Range characters, DPS characters, universal characters. So really, really good stuff here. But this is the jewel system. This is actually really new. And of course you got your season pass down here. I have not found this to really be worth it. But again, and the thing is you have multiple tiers So you can actually purchase quite a few different account passes. And then the shoot and loot is the current event for Cossette. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. It probably ended up being a little longer than I had hoped, but hopefully I've demystified some of the stuff with the main menu UI. Until next time, take care.